Yes, guys, welcome to your Hans Australia Cup semi-final prediction video, as we are just under 5 days away from the Hans Australia Cup semi-final matchups. Today, we will be doing my predictions. We will be talking about all the teams. We will be possibly talking Australian news at the end, but most likely not, as I want to focus this video on the Australia Cup. First up, Heidelberg versus Auckland FC. Obviously, Heidelberg has looked very impressive in the last two matchups in the Australia Cup, beating Wellington Phoenix 4-0, beating Western Sydney Wanderers 3-0. I do think Auckland FC will find this way harder than their previous matchups, what they did have. And if I just go into recent matches, they beat South Melbourne 3-3. They beat South Melbourne 3-0, Sydney FC 3-1 on penalties. And then they beat West Coast. I do not want to get this wrong. They also got knocked out of the Chatham Cup 6-5 to Melville. That was in June though. But when it comes to Australia Cup, they beat West Coast Rangers 5-0. 5-0. Then in the round of 32 of the Australia Cup, they did beat Gold Coast Knights 4-0, and then beat South Melbourne 3-0, and then beat Sydney FC 3-1 on penalties. Heidelberg will be their hardest test yet, in my opinion. Yes, it isn't an A-League side, I agree, but that doesn't mean anything. We've had Heidelberg go into this on some very fine form when it comes to the Australia Cup, as I just look into a form now. So they finished second in the NPL. They beat Wellington Phoenix 4-0, Western Sydney Wanderers 3-0. In the round of 32, they beat Western Bears 2-0. In the Doherty Cup, they lost in the final to South Melbourne, and they have the NPL Vic semi-final as well on the 7th of September, which is literally the week after this. But the opponent for that is undecided, but this is obviously for the Australia Cup we're talking about. Obviously, Heidelberg comes into this with a very good offensive structure. They get forward nicely, they defend nicely. And I'm going to say an upset here because I'm confident in what I'm about to say. Heidelberg will beat Auckland FC. They will make it to the final. And they'll face either Newcastle Jets or Avondale. My prediction for that will be in around 30 seconds or so after I give you my score prediction. I think it'll be 2-2 in 90 minutes. Then Heidelberg win on penalties. 3-1, 4-2. So I do think Heidelberg make it to the Australia Cup finals. Now let's move on to the second semi-final matchup, as Newcastle Jets face Avondale, who finished top in the NPL League stage. One second. Let me just get the form up. But, as I was saying, Newcastle Jets beat Macarthur 3-0 yesterday in the quarterfinals to face Avondale. Avondale going into this beat Brisbane City 6-2. Now, do I think Avondale will sweep past Newcastle Jets? No. Because Newcastle Jets are still a semi-decent A-League side. But I keep saying this. There can be upsets in the Australian leagues. There has been upsets before. And I think we will not see an upset in both ties, though. Or do we? There's genuine times we see two whole upsets. But yeah, Avondale going into this. Beat Leichhardt 3-1. And then Avondale beat Stirling Lions 5-1. So Newcastle Jets beat Cooks Hill United 5-0. And they also beat Adelaide United 2-1, along with a 3-0 win against Macarthur, like I just mentioned. I'm going with a Newcastle Jets win. Once again, I'm confident in saying this. 2-1 Newcastle Jets. They will make it to the final against Heidelberg. My finals prediction will be on the Monday after the playoff, after the semis. So next Monday, you are getting your final predictions for the Australia Cup. If you want to see Aiden Champions League content, if you want to see all that, let me know. I'm actually down for that. Yes, I'll need to watch more Asian Championship football, but Champions League football, sorry. But I'm more than happy to do that. And whilst there is Australian transfer news going on, I'll bring some up because why not? So, Randers have received offers for Mohamed Toure this season. There's the man, so that's one Australian player. But I think, other than that, Marco Tilio, who used to be at Melbourne City, correct me if I'm wrong, has gone to Rapid Vienna from Celtic for a transfer fee of 1.3 million. And yet, there is demand for Toure, as Randers has received multiple offers for the player. And that's basically everything. I hope you guys enjoy. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and peace!